People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, good evening and welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, and welcome to another night of sharing. This is a special edition show. With us, we have Adam Gause, founder of Titan King Media LLC. Adam is a highly respected artist and independent animator. After graduating Fairleigh Dickinson University with a Bachelor of Arts in 3D animation and film in 2010, Adam founded Titan King Media LLC. Since 2011, his company's work has been featured by major 3D software developers, studios, and independent creators on television and various social media platforms, including YouTube, Vimeo, and Blip TV. In 2012, he took his company and ambition to the next level, creating the animated web series Titan King Media's In the Name of the King, with a team of 12 writers, artists, and voice actors. Titan King Media LLC is gearing up to release the second season of In the Name of the King in 2020. Among many things, Adam uses his work for philanthropic endeavors, with emphasis on the Wounded Warrior Project and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So now let's welcome tonight's guest to the platform, Adam Gause. Adam, how are you?
I'm doing good, Kim. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am so excited about you being on the show this evening.
Yeah, me too. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Well, since you're happy to be here, and I know the listeners are excited about hearing you, and I know you've got some family and friends out there listening too. So we're gonna as one of my coworkers, I would say, let's kick this pig, okay?
Fair enough. Let's do this.
All righty then. So why don't you just tell the listeners a little bit more about you? I know I talked about some of the highlights in your bio, but let's talk a little bit more about where you're from and who you got, in your life and what's going on with you here currently.
Well, I live in Hampton Roads right now, and full-time, I'm a 3D artist, and I work for the U.S. Army. I make more training products for them, but, like you said, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what I do outside of all of that. So, like you said, in 2011, I founded my company, Titan King Media LLC. It was a small company. We started doing logos and graphic design at first, but it was never supposed to stop there. We knew that we wanted to do animation. We knew that we wanted to do more special effects stuff and ultimately have our own cartooning studio. So in 2012, I took a risk with some good friends. For some reason, they trusted me. And it's funny because the show that we started, it was just meant to be some art piece for a portfolio. And then, we just said, hey, let's just keep going. And just from that, the people that were inspired by it, the people that started their own projects from it, and the people that would later come into my life from that just completely changed the direction of my life. And I am just so thankful for that. So, and just since then, I've been pushing to do that professionally, do that in probably the most legit way that I can. And recently, I've just started to really widen my bubble of artists, 3D artists, and just other content creators to learn from them and to really see, what was I not doing correctly? What can I do correctly? How can I grow? And just from them, I'm where I'm at now. Like today, I released a piece of artwork, and it got promoted by a major software company that I use to make the art. So, it's stuff like that. And to say that I would achieve something at age 30, that's just complete blessing. And and I also am very thankful for my wife for letting me do this, because the stuff takes time to do, and that's time that you could be spending with your wife and your family. But she's a good woman for letting me do this. So I'm very thankful. So.
Well, just to say, we're going to backtrack just a little bit, because there's so much more that people don't know about you and about me. And a big part of that, I said, is because, Adam, you and I have known each other for, gosh, it's been, 6-7 years, maybe longer?
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting to lose track. 2010,
I believe.
Yeah.
That's when I graduated. Yeah. That's when I graduated college, and you were my first boss. So.
Yes, and as he always, and every time we talk or communicate, I am still his boss, and I just love this young man, because he's like, but you don't have to call me boss. He always does. He's like, okay, boss, I got this. I'm like,
and it's a way of me giving respect to you, because there are very few people that I've worked for that I will call them boss, and because to me, the boss means that you took care of your people. You did what was right, regardless of, the consequences. And honestly, you knew what you were doing, and you took time to sow a seed in me. And for that, if, the least I can do is, for the rest of my life, regardless of if I'm a millionaire or billionaire, I'm still going to call you boss.
Well, I appreciate that. And when you do become that millionaire, billionaire, just don't forget. Yeah, just make sure you don't forget me. No,
no, I will not forget you. I promise you that. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah. And, like Adam's talking about, we worked over at Fort Belvoir for many years together. And we worked at a wonderful place that we called Night Vision. That's probably all I'm going to say. But in those several years that we were together, we built a wonderful team, and Adam was probably one of my youngest, and it was just such a pleasure always coming in, working with them, and he never had any problems with asking me questions, and something didn't feel right, we'd have our heart-to-heart conversations, and then it'd be like, look, get back here to work, we got things to do. But, but the blessings that you say I was a blessing to you, you were absolutely a blessing for me, because being in this situation and working in an environment where normally it's a male-run environment, I was the only female at the time running a full-fledged group that was all male-dominated, engineers, IT people, the whole 9 yards. So, I always was appreciative having a group of men who really, truly did appreciate and respected what I did as a project manager. So thank you for that. And I'm so happy to see that what things that we did talk about, and you said I put a seed in you, sowed a seed in you. That to me is the most important thing to hear, because at least I know I was doing the right thing to help you excel, and you have excelled beyond what I could have ever imagined. I know we had many conversations in reference to learning how to be loyal to yourself, and a lot of times we the reason why we have this conversation is because a lot of times people don't understand that. When you're coming into business, you have to be loyal to yourself. And we all know when you're working on a job, we're loyal to the people in order to maintain we get paid. But a lot of times that loyalty is not always, reciprocated back to the employees. So I always remind people that as much time as you put into the employees, you put into yourself. Yes. And, and you have done that. And so I want you to kind of talk a little bit about who else inspired you to come out of your comfort zone, and here you have started your own business, back in 2011, and then obviously have expanded that in 2012. Talk more about your inspiration.
I got to say, first off, biggest inspiration, one, is mom and dad. They're the ones that pushed me. They're the ones that took a risk and said, hey, we're going to send you to college and you are going to be a famous artist. So I was like, oh, really? They're like, yeah, we're not giving you a choice on that. I was like, okay. And, I definitely got to give it to my wife. She really has been inspiring me and really pushing me to look beyond what I know currently and to grab the knowledge where the knowledge is. And when I started doing that more, I started realizing there's no reason why I'm not getting this knowledge, using it for myself and my team and just pushing it. And, I got to give it up to my sister because, she always says that, little brother, I'm proud of you. And, she's always saying that she's envious of me. I'm kind of envious of her because, she's a big deal in the Army, or at least I think so. And then, I got to give it up to my brother, Fred Brown. He told me to give him a shout out, but in all honesty, he's in the film industry too. And, it's really good to have someone close in your family to compare notes and to kind of tell you that you're not crazy from things that you're seeing. When you're seeing those trends, we're helping each other to avoid the issues that we see in our industry. And just from that, it's really been good. And I am very proud of him, and he's really inspired me. Now, other inspirations, I try not to be inspired by some celebrities because, nowadays, once a celebrity can.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
Be, this great person one day, and then you find out some off the wall stuff about this person. But one person that I've actually grown to respect a lot more, and it's just when I saw him on two YouTube channels that I follow that have nothing to do with each other. It's got to be Terry Crews, and I say this, and yes, I know this guy got in trouble for misspeaking on his Twitter account. I don't care. And
well, it just goes to show he's human too, right?
Yeah, he's, and to say that there have been times I've misspoken, that, I've never misspoken my life, that would be a lie. And, I understand him. Then, that's probably one of the things that I respect him for. I further respect him. He acknowledged that he misspoke, and it is what it is. But one of the things that really makes me really inspired by him is the fact that how he grew up, what he grew up doing, and being able to be the symbol he is as a black man who's not afraid to show emotion, as a black man who's not afraid to smile or to show his joy. And especially in this kind of world where it's like, oh, as a black man, aren't you supposed to be big and tough? And Terry Crews, yeah, he can play that role, but one day I saw him on a weightlifting channel one day, and then in that same day, I saw him on another channel that I followed where he was building a gaming computer. And I was like, wait, hold up. These channels have nothing to do with each other. What's going on? And, to see that he did that just to spend time with his son. He learned the skills to build a computer from scratch. Wow. And reached out to the community to do it just to spend time with his son. And it's like, I got to get to know this guy a little bit more. And just, seeing that, and then seeing his testimony at Capitol Hill, during the Me Too movement was just like, wow, there's more to this guy. And right. I want to get to know more to this guy. And just, and one of the things that really stood out was his story about having to hold back when the guy did when that person did what they did to him. Everyone was saying, why didn't you punch this guy? Why didn't you knock him out? Terry Crews was, he said the one thing that hit me the most. He's like, look, black men get killed for much less out here. it's really easy for someone to say this big black man hit me for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that if he had done that, he would have jeopardized both his career, his freedom, and his family by doing that.
Right.
But then he chose to show patience in this. And then now he's hurting that guy in a way that the guy didn't expect, which is getting this guy fired from movies, getting this guy called out during the Me Too movement, and forgive me for saying as though it's over, it's not. But just seeing some of the stuff that he's doing, it's not, I'm inspired by it, but I guess I'm inspired by it because I see myself in this, because some of the things that he's gone through, it not only says that, hey, someone else is going through it, but someone else is going through it and they still succeeded. They still have a joyful life. They still are living an honorable life. They're still living a life with their family and building their family. And in seeing that, it's, I look at that and say, this is what I want to do.
Right.
I told my wife, I'm doing all this so that one day I don't have to do it after work or when I get home. I can leave it at work and I can spend time with my family. We can go out and do the things that we love to do. So I'm sorry if I got a little.
No. I mean, it's one thing you've acknowledged, and I think that's so important is that, you can still live your dream and do the things that you need to do and still have family, still have friends. But also you've made it very clear that the one thing in order to be successful and to have that day where you can walk through that door and say, you know what, I don't have to do this today or I don't do tomorrow. You have to put in the work. And that's with any business. And I think a lot of times when people come into business, they think that when they have one success, they don't have to continue moving forward. You have to constantly keep recreating who you are and what you're doing so that people are constantly reminded that you are still there. And because as we know, as business people, if you don't, you're gone. I mean, it's like ghosts. People will just, if you leave, you're not reminded or remembered anymore. And so, what you're doing and how you're acknowledging and thinking about the people in your life that surround you, your circle of the different ways they inspire you and what you're doing is the right way. And, but at the same time, you're still growing and you're still learning. Like you said, you're 30 years old. You've got a whole lot more ahead of you, but you definitely have to pat yourself on the back consistently every day because nobody's going to do it for you.
Well, in this case, it's surprisingly because, there's one more group that's been inspiring me. It's been my team. And I say that I have so many team members from Brigetta, Charisse, Marco, Andre, Mike, Ryan, Amanda, everyone. Guys, forgive me if I forget to name you.
Look, they're getting a shout out, free shout out tonight. So to the whole team, okay, you guys better be listening because we are going to ask.
But these guys, they legitimately took a risk with me, and when we first started, it was so rough. But then they saw the development. They saw something that they were like, oh, it's just an idea, to where it's now a living, breathing thing, where we're giving life into something. And just the constant support they give me from, if I'm sharing something, if I'm just sharing a post of saying, hey, I'm just testing some things out, and then seeing my teammates share it and they're like, man, this is the best thing. This is so awesome. And I'm like, man, chill out, man. It ain't that big of a deal. And, I think that, but then it reminds me of, these are the people I'm doing this for. It's, I'm not doing this to make millions of dollars. That'd be nice. If anything, if I make millions of dollars, it's going to go right back to my team. Like, I'm going to pay them. I'm going to give them a better lifestyle. That's my dream, is to do what I love to do and give the people that I love and the people that have been involved in this just a better way to live, a better lifestyle and everything. So from that, my own team inspires me because they show me that, hey man, this is something. This is something. This will always be something. And for that, I'm truly grateful for it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to segue into the challenges because you talked a little bit about the fact that being this type of business does come with challenges. So talk just real briefly about some of the challenges you have because, preparing and building a media corporation and then, doing what you're doing with animation and so forth. I have no clue. Okay. I see what you do, but, putting it all together, I'm sure, has to be craziness in the beginning. And then on top of
Yes.
that, getting, like you said, people to believe in what your dream is and what you're trying to do. So just talk a little bit about some of those challenges that you've been facing or have faced and since you started back in 2011 or 2011.
Yeah, 2011. Biggest one that we can all relate to is time. The time you spend doing this work, because, you have to make a living too. You got to provide for your family. You got to provide for yourself. So everything that I'm doing indie wise, or everything I'm doing for this company, is happening obviously after work hours and on my own equipment. And just the time to come home and do that while still being a good son, a good brother, a good husband, and, hopefully soon, God willing, a good father. That time crunch is kind of hard. So trying to balance the stuff, because ultimately art takes time. I love the little there's the little scale metaphor to show, like, if you want good quality art, it takes a lot of time or it takes a lot of money, and people want the best quality stuff in the shortest time and in the least amount of money, and that's not true. That's not how art works. Which leads me into the second challenge, is as an artist, both for myself and my company, and during my full-time career, the biggest thing that I've learned about art, or especially 3D work, it is a balance. Every job that I've had has had its strengths, and most certainly has had its weaknesses. There have been jobs to where they've had talented people, but those talented people were given equipment and means to not properly do the work correctly. And, it's easy to say, I worked at places that have, undermined, saying, oh, you just want the nice, shiny stuff. It's like, it's not about that.
Right.
The stuff, the means that you're using to make that art have to match your skill level, because at some point your skill level will exceed your equipment. This was an issue that we ran into on season 1, to where we had gotten so skilled in putting the show out to the point where one of the shows, I'm going to call it a bottleneck. It got bottlenecked by our equipment, and to where we were literally waiting on our equipment to finish doing what it was doing while we were just sitting on our thumbs. And it was like, wow, we have literally exceeded this equipment and these means. We now need to buy equipment that matches our skill level. And in doing that, the other challenge is making sure that you're not relying on the equipment as well. Make sure that you're not relying on something that is meant to only make your life easier. In the same way you have to give a skilled artist means that matches skill, you have to make sure you don't give an amateur equipment and means that exceed their skill.
Okay.
There are things you have to learn, because these tools are built for people who have learned the lesson first, and then they're able to apply that lesson to the means that you're getting them. And, it's a constant balance between, hey, should we spend $200 here, or should we learn?
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
In the process, and sometimes the answer is both. It's we should learn the process first, and then once we've got it down, we then need to go get this $200 piece of equipment to then speed this up. And and the third thing with art, again, is really management. And this, different jobs I learned from you to be willing to argue with your leadership. The first job that I left Night Vision for, man, I butted heads with my leadership. And I loved every moment of it too. And it was one of those things. And I told them, it's like, you are expecting an A1 product from me, but you're giving me child, you're giving me lackluster tools to do it.
Right.
And you're not going to get this. And they were like, well, you better do it. I'm like, or what? You'll fire me? It's like, I'm good enough to go anywhere I want in this area. And, and that's because I was confident in my skill. I'm still confident in my skill, and just understanding and making sure that, I had to learn to make sure that I'm informing my management and my leadership of what it takes to do something. And the place I'm at now, I've learned so much from these guys, and they've actually contributed to the work I'm doing now. And, my leadership, they've actually told me, and they actually encourage, very candid discussions. And they say, are we doing this right, or are we doing this wrong?
Right.
And being able to see that and being able to learn that has really contributed to me, because, I'm not just making the art. I also have to manage different people, because also on top of doing the indie work, we also do this. We still do the contract work. So, when we get those contracts in, we don't want to say no to that money. That's, so
Right.
we have to send that. I have to send that work out to someone else so that they can do it. And then I have to find some kind of I have to make some kind of table between the hours someone works on something, and what does it cost us to take this person off the current project, and then I got to pay that person for working on this. So, and then about 2 years ago, I actually had to buy my first piece of equipment for for a part-time employee.
All right.
And I was like, yeah, 'cause, she came to me and she was like, my computer is really bad. And I was like, oh man. So I had to go out and build a brand new, laptop for this person, get this person equipment so she can start doing these projects correctly. And
Right.
doing that really taught me. It's like, this is the realm that I'm now in. If I want top tier artists, I got to give them equipment that matches their skill level.
Right. And then on top of that, what you've done is that you've learned that, like you said, from your job experiences, you've been able to take those same experiences and put them into your business.
Yes.
So you understand what time management is. You understand what it means to buy equipment or software, whatever you need to have, like I said, in order to ensure that the people that are working for you, that they're getting the best of what they need, and vice versa. And then as well as them allowing them to have those conversations, whether you want to hear them or not sometimes, about what it is that you need to have in order to make sure that everything goes off properly. So,
yeah. I got a teammate, and I say this because I love him. He's my brother. Me and my brother Andre, he's one of our main writers. Me and him butt heads a lot, but man, I love it. I love it when we butt heads, because it's not because we hate each other. It's because we are very passionate about the product, and seeing him being willing to butt heads with me kind of makes me happy, because it's like, he this is a living thing, and someone's arguing me about a show that I started. So, it's awesome to me, and being able to take that feedback and knowing how to take that feedback, knowing that when someone says, "Hey, man, this is wrong," they're not saying I'm wrong because they hate me. They're saying I'm wrong because this is a product that they are probably looking at and saying, look, I want to get paid to make this product, because this is awesome. So, and I'm learning to really just encourage people to, hey, if you don't like something, say it now. And we're changing our processes to allow for people to have that kind of feedback and to make those kinds of changes. So, and I think that's the other struggle too, being able to take that feedback, both from your team and from, the bigger artist community.
Right.
We're starting to put ourselves out there now to bigger artist communities. No, it's not just letting our friends look at it and give their opinion.
Exactly.
We're putting our artwork out on sites and out on platforms where these people who are working at these big name gaming studios and animation studios are looking at this, and they're giving us legitimate feedback. Sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's negative, but but most times it's, hey, you guys need to work on this. We actually had that recently. Someone pointed out a flaw in one of the art pieces we put up, and I didn't notice it, and I was like, oh man, thank God I put this up on here.
Right,
So,
right. It's always better to have more eyes, than yours, looking. So, but what I want you to I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I have a couple more questions. I wanted to kind of get you to dive into telling me about the web series. What is Titan Kings Media in the name of the king? Talk to the listeners about what your web series is about, because I know you have another series coming out in 2020, and so we'll talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah. So, the same series, the series that's coming out in 2020 is a continuation of that. But, the series Titan King Media is in the name of the king is now season 1. Again, this was never meant to be a 12-episode season, and but it is. We hope to release our season finale for season 1 soon. But then all the new artwork we're putting out is going to be for that. But originally the show started, the theme was, kids learning to be their own superheroes. Okay. And, it's, because I got tired of seeing some of these cartoons, they were cool, but they lacked the substance that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. They lacked some of the lessons that I learned to just be a decent person or, hey, it's going to be hard, but you can't do this, you can't, you got to do things the right way. And, we try to do that in a less corny kind of way. We try to put our own little experiences, our own little dry humor into it. Mm-hmm. And, which is what the show is really known for is the humor that we put into the show, but also somewhat how realistic the show is in regards to how would a kid deal with this and how would a grown up deal with a kid acting in this way. Mm-hmm. And, that's what season 1 is about. Season 2 is going to be more diving deep into, and without giving away some of the things, we're going to be, I learned because, again, I'm not a writer, I'm an artist, but I'm learning more now to where the best stories are the stories where you understand that every enemy is the hero of their own story. So season 2 is going to be focusing more on the supposed bad guys that we were dealing with and showing more of, hey, are they this way because they're the dark people, or are they the dark entity or whatever, or are they this way because of circumstances? Right. Okay. And we're going to be diving more deep into this and showing, and I'm trying not to give out some of the
don't say anything else, because I don't want none of your buddies calling me talking about you hear me talk too much. No, it's okay. But go ahead.
But yeah, we're going to be diving deep into that in season 2. Okay. And because we're every time we look back at season 1, we think, man, we could have done better at this. And season 2 is going to be more of a showcase of what we've learned over these years of doing the show, and just taking our story writing skills, taking our character development skills to another level. Mm-hmm. And the first few episodes, and we're also trying to keep this somewhat clean, but we're also trying to kind of hit home with some things as well. Right. So where it's like, hey, you think these people are perfect. They're not. Mm-hmm. Now, and we're now showing that, hey, circumstances can cause the purest of souls to go dark, or circumstances can cause people to do what you think is dark. But until you step in their shoes and you understand why they're doing it, it makes you think, mm-hmm. And that's the story that we are going to tell. I'm not going to say try, because we are doing it. Right.
So where can people actually listen and watch this wonderful series? Because I have not seen this series, and I would love to be able to go and watch it so I can get caught up before 2020 comes out.
Yeah, so it's on YouTube. So it's youtube.com/Titan King Media. You will, if you go there, you'll see Titan King Media. You'll see a black and white picture of a beautiful brown boy with that big afro on there. That's us. So, right. So episodes 1 through 9, I believe, are on there. And we will be wrapping up that season on there. So, again, we have 9 episodes on there soon, on there right now. We're going to be following up with two more episodes that are in that particular art style. Mm-hmm. And then once season 2 comes out, you'll see the newer art that we've been putting out. And then that's when you'll start, we're going to be tying those 2 seasons together, obviously, because they're the same story. But we'll be making some small tweaks to tell a stronger story here. So,
well, that sounds exciting. So, excuse me, very exciting, and looking forward to.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
Having that opportunity to review everything because I love the background story of the web series and definitely looking forward to hearing about 2020. So you definitely need to promote this more because it's something that, our kids need to see more of, something that's more positive, but also, like you said, a little more realistic. And I think that you're doing a great job with that. So I have a couple more questions and then before we end the evening out. So, you have done a lot for other people, but, obviously there's a lot of people who are listening right now and they're saying, I do this a little bit in the background and I really don't know what to do next. So what little bit of advice would you provide to anyone who decides that they want to get into animation and media web series?
The first thing I would say is develop a mindset of don't ever settle for yourself. One of the things and one of the worst things that I had to catch for me was when I was working at a particular job and the job was constantly settling on work, even though we told them, hey, we really shouldn't be doing this. And, once I left that particular job, and started doing my own work, I realized I was slowly doing that with myself. And it was like, oh my God, I got to break this habit. And I would just say, just don't settle on your work. Constantly push, constantly keep growing, find ways to not only do the work, but to do it in a sustainable way. One of the things that I really hate seeing is when people are trying to just go viral without really any skill or talent that backed it up. And, or they like to say just controversial stuff to go viral. Okay, you can do that, but here's the problem with doing that. That's not sustainable. Like, the work that we're doing it in a way to where we're not just going to put out one episode, but we're not going to put out just, a few episodes. We want to put out a few seasons. And we're building our workflow in a way, and we're building up our gear in a way to where we can sustain that. But to sustain it, we have to not settle with what we have. We have to constantly look at, okay, we're now here. What's the next level for when we exceed this point? And to get that, it goes into the second piece of advice. Learn the lessons that you need to learn. And be willing to ask for help, be willing to reach out, and be willing to, just have conversations. It's have conversations with people who are at a higher level than you. We're able, there are some people that we follow that we were able to actually ask a question to. And I was really surprised. Some of these people actually wrote back and they answered our question. And, I would just tell them, I would just tell people, if you're looking to be something, find someone who's already there and try to reach out to them and ask them questions. Because sometimes, we'll start in a simple, Twitter message. We'll end up with someone on that team following you and constantly giving you advice. Or, if you're using a piece of software, like for me, I actually have pretty good ties with one of the software companies that I actually use to do my work. And I'm actually able to contact someone on that team. And from our talks, the guy actually threw in some of the suggestions that I had because they were looking for people like me to reach out and just get in a conversation with. So to that, I just say reach out to people. There's a wealth of knowledge on the internet. There's so much free information. I wish this information was available back in 2010 that's available now. And, because YouTube right now, the information that's on there now, especially from the indie community about how to do this work in a sustainable way, that wasn't available in 2011.
Wow.
The people that are literally making film studios and have employees and have millions of dollars of equipment just to make YouTube videos. That wasn't really a thing in 2010. Like, there are people who, they're able to make a little bit of a living, but now you have people who have 30-man teams, 30-man studios. They have $50,000 cameras because they just did what they wanted to do. And those people are willing to share their knowledge. So, I would just tell people, reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. It's really, I know it can be intimidating to reach out to a big name artist or a big name company and just ask for help, or to just show off your work and ask for advice. But ultimately, I'll say they'll reach back to you. Some of these people will reach back to you.
Right. Well, if you don't ask, you won't learn. You won't know. So, because you don't have all the answers. And there's definitely, like I said, more people out there who have that experience and, are definitely willing to help. And in the same way that you've learned, you will continue to help others do the same thing. So that's the beauty about the business that you're in. And like I said, 2010, there was none of that. And now here we are almost in 2020. And I'm sure, it's probably tripled since then. So it's great that there is that type of community out there, especially for what you're doing, because being able to develop your own web series and, having your own shows and stuff. I mean, I'm sure as time goes on, you will continue to do other different types of series and so forth. So this is amazing. And congratulations again on what you've accomplished. And before we leave this show this evening, please tell everybody how they can reach out to you and getting information. So what platforms that you're on and so forth.
So surprisingly, most of the indie creators that I'm actually friends with, I've met them all through Facebook, and all the big communities, all the big indie communities that I'm a part of are on Facebook. So, we have our Titan King Media page, Facebook.com/Titan King Media. Let me say it a little slower because I know I talk fast sometimes. Facebook.com/Titan King Media. And we're also on Twitter and Instagram. At Titan King Media, just at then Titan King Media. But going back to Facebook, we're very vocal. We're very vocal with people who ask us questions. If you have a question, send us a message, and I guarantee you we will reply. If you have a legitimate question, if you have some artwork you want us to just look at and just review, we will get back. We will reach out to you. If you reach out to us. But I would say if you hit us up on Facebook, we can not only, reach back out to you, but we can, direct you in certain areas, especially if you're a filmmaker or even a 3D artist. There are other groups on Facebook that I've really benefited from that have given me the knowledge that has proven critical in my career. And I have no problem directing anyone to those pages if they are really serious about pursuing that kind of a career. So again, our two pages that you can reach out to us, Twitter and Instagram, and our handle is at Titan King Media. But the one page that I will definitely respond to you personally is Facebook.com/Titan King Media.
All right. Well, Adam, it has been an amazing educational night for me on media.
Yes.
Because this has been so good. I really want to thank you for spending some time with me this evening in your busy schedule, and of course taking away your time with your family and your dog, because I know your dog is saying, "Hey, when you coming back now?" So
she's fine. I'm surprised she's been quiet this whole time. So
well, like I said, you enjoy the rest of your evening. For those who are listening, you have heard it from the man. His name is Adam Gause. He is the founder of Titan King Media LLC. You can look him up on Facebook, and you can reach out to him and get any information that you want, as long as it's legitimate and good questions, of course. And then as well, make sure that you check out the web series Titan King Media's In the Name of the King. And again, in 2020, we have the second season starting In the Name of the King in 2020. So remember, to reach out if you have questions. And for us here, please reach out to us here at WSBI if you have any questions or if you have any specific guests that you would like for me to interview. You can reach out to me at Kimberly at WSBILLC.com. Again, I would like to thank you all for listening to us tonight. I will be back next week, same time, same place, with another new guest. And also make sure you follow us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Tumblr, Facebook. We are also on YouTube as well. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.